Big roll.
Okay, welcome everybody. I'd like to call to order the February 12th, 2026 meeting of the Delray Oaks Planning Commission. Can we get a roll call, please?
Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Here.
Here.
Here. I would like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. You can all join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, consent agenda. Any comments, observations?
Accept the consent agenda as published.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Passes unanimously. Okay, we'll go to public comment. Anyone wishing to address the commission on matters not appearing on the agenda may do so now. The public may comment on any matters listed on the agenda at the time the matter is being considered by the commission. There will be a time limit of not more than 3 minutes for each speaker. No action will be taken by the commission on matters brought up under this item, and all comments will be referred to staff. So if we have any public comment, you can step up to the podium. Don't see anybody rushing right up there, so we'll close public comment. Okay, go through reports. Any comments, questions, concerns? You guys are going to make this easy.
I have some comments on the building activity
Okay.
reports,
Okay.
because one of them is on my street
Oh,
and it's looking really good. So yeah.
Okay.
That's the one on Serrano Way, this fourth one on the list, first page. So it's fairly recent, but it's full remodel and it's looking good.
good. Anything more?
Yeah, I have another comment,
Okay.
and it is that I'm seeing a new ADU in January that was approved, and I was very pleased to see that as well. On the second page.
Okay.
That's it.
Anyone else? Okay. So old business. There is none. So we'll go to new business, and I'd like to announce that we will be hearing item B before item A, because we decided that we didn't want to have the people for item B have to sit through the painful. Oh, sorry.
No.
Very interesting
Interesting, but it may not be
stuff
up
that
your
we hear
alley,
about
yes.
every couple of months or so.
We
It's good
love
stuff.
it.
But anyway, so the applicant's name is Kristen Setliff. Yep, sorry. Kelly Sidoric is the owner. File name ARC 26-01 for 810 Arbor Place. They're requesting architectural review to add 101 square foot sunroom to the front of a single family dwelling, replace top roof deck railing with horizontal wire railing, relocate and reduce size of posts for roof, top deck, and increase roof pitch over flat roof. So we're here to, it's an architectural review. So do we have someone that can speak to it?
Good evening. My name is Kristen Setliff, and I'm the designer for 810 Arbor Place. You pretty much said what I'm going to say, but I'll just reiterate it. This is a modest project. It's a 101 square foot sunroom added to the entry, extending the entry about 6 feet. It creates a light-filled space with a screen security door so the homeowner can enjoy fresh air and natural sunlight while still feeling safe in her home. We will reorganize the existing straight run stairs to accommodate the new entry, keeping the design consistent with what is existing. We are also relocating rooftop deck posts that currently block the walkway. updating the rooftop deck railing to horizontal wire, and slightly increasing the slope of the flat roofs to improve drainage. All materials will match the existing home and changes visible from the street will be minimal. We appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll come to the commission for questions and clarifications. No comments at this time, just Commissioner Krieger, we'll start with you.
Questions?
Commissioner Getzel,
No questions at this time.
Commissioner Amati,
No questions.
Commissioner Machi.
I have no questions. Just went over the plans and I saw that you guys are like adding the cricket on the right hand side for that roof pitch. So that's good for the drainage. I saw that, and yeah, like I went and drove by, I saw the story pole and the netting. Everything looks great. Yeah.
Commissioner Panay.
I drove by as well and I looked at the plan and I think it looks really sharp what you've done in terms of work. It's not an easy piece of land to work with, and so it's a good solution. It's not a solution that I see impacting our side of things. So
Hey, Commissioner Wood.
Oh, I had so the roof on the sunroom is the same roof as it's on the house? Or is it,
Yeah, so
Or
it'll
is
be
it
a new
windows?
roof, but
Okay.
it will match the existing
Okay.
plane of the
Uh-huh.
flat roof that we're gonna sort of increase the
Okay.
size. But, so it's a new roof, but it'll be the
but
same.
it'll be seamless?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it.
Okay, I have no further comments or questions. So we'll go to public comment. If anybody has public comment on this project, I don't see anybody running up here again. We'll close public comment. Comments by commissioners. Commissioner Krieger.
Excuse me. I think it looks like a nice little project. I mean, as you mentioned, not a lot of room to do a lot with, so I think it's a nice little improvement. I love sunroom, so I think you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And, yeah, enjoy it. I think it's gonna look nice.
Commissioner Getzel. Comments.
I too went by it and I can see where it's challenging, but I think that this is a great solution. And I'm a great one who loves fresh air and lots of sunlight, and I think you're going to get what you need and will very much enjoy it.
Commissioner Amati, comments.
Looks like a lovely place to have your morning coffee, and I hope you invite us.
Commissioner Machi.
Yeah. No comment.
Commissioner Sine.
I love the railing. That looks really sharp.
Commissioner Wood.
Oh, I chatted with a neighbor who looks down on it and no problem, and don't see. Pretty
Okay.
good project.
Good. I have no further comment. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second?
All in favor? Or,
Aye.
Aye.
hang on,
Roll call.
hang on. So any discussion, further discussion? Yes, Getzel.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
No further discussion.
Okay. So call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it passes unanimously. There's a 25-day appeal period, so if you start work before that, you do it at your own risk. If somebody decides they want to appeal it for any reason, so, but yeah, it passes unanimous. Thank you. Okay,
Yeah. It's more modern. No cleaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
now we'll hear from Denise Duffy and Associates for this riveting General Plan and Housing Element Annual Progress Report for 2025. Thank you. Take it away.
Thank you, Chair Hareworth and members of the commission. We appreciate being here today for another annual general plan update, annual general plan report. And this is the progress report for the city of Delray Oaks. I think it's been maybe my 11th time in front of you. All reports are due April 1st, so we wanted to get this ahead of schedule. With me here tonight is Luke Heiserman. He's an assistant planner with DD&A, helped prepare the report. I first want to just identify what's in your staff report and go into the next. There's a staff report talking about what the annual progress reports are about in your packet. There is also the attachment, which makes up the draft annual progress report, which includes both general plan progress and housing element progress. And then there's an attachment A, which is the requirement under HCD identifying where we are in terms of progress of the implementation of the housing element. There's other tables that we'll show you during the presentation. And then there's something that's a little bit new. It's called a no net loss report. It's one of the requirements under the housing element program A4, and we'll be discussing that during our presentation. We did receive a letter from MST, which I'll read into the record prior to a completion of our meeting tonight. So just to get to the presentation, we're here for the annual progress report. Yes, we've been here before. It's this is different this year in the sense that we have a compliant housing element. That's really great news. The other news regarding that is that our compliance letter was received at the end of August of 2025, and so this is this is about progress and how did you implement your housing element and your general plan. Well, for the most part, in the last year, we were focused on getting the housing element approved through HCD. So the implementation is pretty much as standard as it was last year. There are some elements that we have been able to do since September, October, November. So in our presentation, it's important to note that the annual progress report is for the last calendar year. So the calendar year of January 1st, 2025 through December 2025, December 31st. As we've identified, there's both a general plan and a housing plan. The general plan for the city of Delray Oaks originally for the entire city was 1997, circa 1997. Amazingly, as they reported in the staff report, there's a lot of many of the programs and policies and implementation elements are still similar to what the culture is today in terms of preservation of oaks, land use categories. It's a small city, so we don't have as much progress in terms of changes. However, every year, as we've discussed the general plan, each level, planning commission and council have talked about there's a need to update the general plan. Just a quick side note, the MST letter that was provided, I think you've already all seen it, which essentially is from the executive director of MST and wanting to provide comments on the item 7A that we're talking about, and notes as the city plans for future development, MST emphasizes the importance of considering transit needs and vehicle design. I won't read the entire letter. MST is pleased to hear of the progress on the future updates to the City of Delray Oaks General Plan. As this work continues, MST requests continued coordination with the city in the general plan update process. There is a little bit of a miscommunication or a misunderstanding. We did talk to, left a message for MST. This is not a general plan update process. But we will and do continue to coordinate with MST on all elements, including future forward. There's actually programs in that and mitigation in the EIR. So I did leave that message for the executive director and offered to continue coordination. So as that aside, so from the housing element general plan, the important part is there has been some elements done of the general plan implementation, but essentially we are, pretty much in the same boat as last year in terms of implementing the general plan. There's programs that are ongoing, and there's been no major policy by policy, program by program evaluation. I think the last time we did that was in 2021. I was looking at that today, and so probably next year we'll do a little bit more of an in-depth review. For the housing element, the second part of the annual progress report, each jurisdiction has to submit the annual progress report. Essentially, the HCD, Housing Community Development at the state level, requires that each jurisdiction identify how the cities have met their RHNA or how are they reaching their RHNA. Most cities will have not met RHNA, Regional Housing Needs Assessment Allocation. And the policies, the programs are meant to track each jurisdiction's progress, also in terms of implementing the programs, as we've just talked about. We are in the midst of doing some of them as they are ongoing, but in terms of major programs for a housing implementation, that's not something that we've been able to tackle. So the regional housing needs, this is probably you've seen this multiple times. It's just important to understand that the RHNA it includes the total of 270 units, but there's 184 units for the sixth cycle, and there's a carryover of the other of the rest of those are from the fourth and fifth cycle that the city was not able to create housing within that time period under the allocations. Next slide. So these are the permits issued by the city of Delray Oaks. It's a little small up there, but it identifies the programs and, the permits that were issued by the city of Delray Oaks. And as the commissioner identified earlier, the city has made good progress in terms of the ADU um, building permits issued, as well as completion of construction of projects. There's a key element in the housing element that construction of ADUs should proceed to allow for at least 20 total ADUs to be developed by the end of the sixth cycle housing period. And thus far, there has been, I think, 12 as reported in the housing element 2025. And this year has been a robust number of housing ADUs with either 5 or 6 that were actually implemented and 9 total in 2025. So a really good year in terms of being able to create additional housing units through ADUs. Of course, the city, as it's noted here, city is limited in geographic area in terms of water. We still have a CDO, a cease and desist order, and land configuration. So we don't have any large projects ongoing, although we have a number of programs related to the former Fort Ord in the housing element for future development of that site, sites 1 and 1A. Next slide. So this is just a slide of the accessory dwelling units, a list that Laura puts together and maintains on a quarterly basis and gives that to us, and the city tracks those very well, consistent with the housing element policies and programs. It just identifies the number of units created. This is a part of attachment in the housing element, in the housing element annual progress report, APR, and it identifies each housing element policy and what it says and where we are now within the time frame. It's updated since the last one which we did in 2025, and also there's a whole set of the programs in the housing element that are also identified in terms of what's been done in 2025. And another item that's in the staff report is under housing element program A4. It's something called a no net loss. Essentially, that is required by HCD. There's a number of laws, but this one is related to no net loss. Means if there's some project that comes forward and reduces the amount of housing within your jurisdiction, then you have to ensure that there's no net loss, so that there's no potential loss of affordable housing units within the time frame of the housing element. The state requires us to prepare an annual report to that effect. For Delray Oaks, we have the same amount of buildable available planning area. Inventory of sites are identified as sites 1 and 1A, as you may recall from former Fort Ord. There is much available land available to provide the adequate number of housing for the RHNA. So this report, although required on an annual basis, will continue to put forth on April 1st of every year, and prevent but it will continue to say that there's available land for the no net loss. And so we meet that requirement. There's plenty of buffer. And that is just information regarding the program to make sure that if there is a shortfall, it's important to understand a shortfall. If you don't have enough available land for housing to meet the RHNA, then the city would be required to, if you have a shortfall, to do another rezoning to create more land for that. In this case, luckily, the city's in good position. So that's the end of our presentation. We just want to be available for any questions. This is actually a open to the public also for any comment. And it's something that if you so choose, as required by state law, the Planning Commission needs to send this to the City Council for them to approve to submit to HCD. The submittal actually goes to the former Office of Planning and Research for the general plan and also to HCD for the Housing Element Annual Report. And it's due on April 1st of every year. So we have time to do that. And if you have any questions, we're available.
We'll start with Commissioner Krieger.
Thanks, Denise. Yeah, good. Questions mostly just help me understand better. Comments. At the end of your cover letter, I just want, this is the observation, it's expected to be approved at March 24th city council meeting and it's due April 1st. So probably unlikely anything's going to come up, but kind of cutting it close, I guess. But okay, in the APR itself, I think you kind of answered this. I had a question. It said in 3.0, the first paragraph, it talked about no substantial changes since the 2023 APR was submitted. I was kind of wondering how long we string that along without having to do something significant. But you said probably next year we'll do a more significant update. Is that what you were talking about? Or
Yes, by significant update, it's not to any of the plans or policies because this is not meant to update programs or policies. It's meant to report on progress.
right?
But every 5 years, it's typical and to do a more comprehensive review of the general plan policies. And so the last time we did it, I have here is 2021 in my packet. So the next year we'll do a little more comprehensive.
I understand it's not getting into the policies itself. I guess so. Probably don't we expect a lot of any significant updates until we do something with the Fort Ord land, or is that probably when something significant will move forward as far as acting on?
It's important to understand that we're reporting on adopted policies.
Right.
So until the city adopts change or new policies or programs, we're reporting on what's here.
Okay.
So if
We're not
there's,
reporting on milestones or actions that we say we're going to do. It's
for the housing element, for the general plan, which I think is what you were
right.
talking
No,
about.
okay.
Yeah.
No, I saw the general plan. I was just looking at the APR part of it. Not, I understand the general
Yeah,
plan.
yeah,
Touch
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Probably.
No, I think that it's important to understand the second part of your question, which is if it's related to the housing element
Mhm.
programs, then yes, I think it's important every year to see where we are with our program implementation, especially in relation to sites 1 and 1A and former
That's
Fort Ord.
probably, and that's probably when we'll start to see more significant
Yes.
action. Oh,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
kind of what I was thinking. Okay. So, okay. And in A3, it talked about the planned unit developments. It says we're not needed. I understand that we don't need it to meet the RENA. Do you know, is that still something that we're actively pursuing though? Is that still in the discussion?
So the statement is that the program is not needed to meet RENA.
Right.
So typically what HCD wants is, what it discusses these programs is, well, we want to make sure you have enough RENA, you have enough area to meet RENA. We do have, if I look at that program specifically, we have looked at these different areas within the last year. And identify 5 sites for small lots with PUDs. I think your statement, your question was about not needed to meet RENA. That's just a statement of
Right,
fact.
that's just, I understand.
Yeah.
I was just curious, are we still looking, is that still kind of in our planning, our discussions, do you know, to keep the planned unit developments? The small lot planned unit development?
These are the adopted programs and
that's-
policies. So there is nothing that changes in this housing element unless
Oh.
planning commission adopts.
We're just saying we
and-
don't need it right now.
Yeah, right. It's not, yeah, just to be clear again. So we're commenting and providing on the progress of that. So we're not suggesting any changes. We wouldn't be able to do that within the context of this report.
Okay, I mean, sounds kind of, I like the small lot stuff. It sounds cool. Okay. So let's down in B1. Now, this may not be something you can answer. It's talking about the exclusive right to negotiate, and it talks about language addressing development milestones and requirements. I just wondering, do we have any idea when we might get some kind of update or briefing on how that's going? 'Cause I guess it says the ERN was developed or established back in 2024. So
Would you repeat the
The-
program you're talking about? I'm
D1.
D1. Oh, I'm sorry.
Bravo.
D1.
E.
B. Okay.
Bravo. Bravo.
you.
one. Let me get back to my flying days here. Bravo one. It talks about the ERN, and it was saying it's addressing the development milestones and requirements for development of parcels at the end of that first paragraph. I was just curious if you had any, I don't think that's your purview necessarily. I'm not sure exactly how the hierarchy is on that between you and city manager, but I was curious, can we maybe expect any kind of update anytime soon on what's going on? Because it's been 2 years now, or year and a half.
So that is a question for your city manager as to when he would want to come in and provide additional information. But we do have progress in terms of B1 because we do continue to work with
Right.
developers as they come in. We work with the economic consultant. We continue to meet with Marina Coast Water District and other water purveyors to keep our water moving. So the development is always on the horizon. But I will definitely present that information and request,
Okay.
per the city clerk, if that is appropriate.
Yeah, and I guess the next one sort of falls along the same line in Bravo point 2. At the end of it, it talks at the end of the column, timeframe column. It talks about ongoing work with developers, report on funding annually to city council. I just didn't know. Do we know when that report happens? By any chance? That'd be something interesting to keep an eye on. If we're getting any money, that would definitely be interesting to know. Again, that's probably not your purview, so let's.
Reference to B2 is the city worked with AMBAG in 2025 on funding opportunities for additional REAP funding to further affordable housing is just a correct statement.
Yeah, it's just that last thing. It says they do a report annually, and I was kind of curious when that happens because I'd like to make sure
City.
I catch that. That could be interesting.
Are you looking at the fourth
the-
column or
The
the
third column.
So the third column is, I should have explained this, so I'm sorry. So these are actual programs and summaries from the housing element.
Okay.
The first column is the program name and number. The second column is the objective that is the adopted housing element. So this isn't something that we're writing, it's in the adopted housing element. So that's the objective. And then in the housing element. And then the third column is the timeline in the housing element. The fourth column talks about progress and implementation. So everything but the progress and implementation
Mhm.
is what the city has adopted at their housing element.
Okay.
So the objective it's a great question, is to meet annually, to present annually what these funding opportunities are.
I'm just gonna be kind of curious. I don't want to miss it because that could be. I can know what's going on.
In terms of whether that objective's been met, we've identified what progress has been made
Okay.
on that fourth column
Okay.
that we know of, yeah.
And down in Charlie.1, under that fourth the status, it says the very last sentence in that paragraph: the city will continue to review the zoning ordinance. Are we up to date? We're done with that, right? As far as what we need to do for now, as far as all the zoning.
So zoning is typically an ongoing action.
Right.
The reference there is, I think, I'm just going from memory. Let me read it really quickly. So during the housing element assessment review over the last 3 or 4 years, part of in chapter 4 and chapter 3, environmental constraints, and chapter 2, it is an evaluation of what is in your zoning ordinance now. What are those constraints and opportunities for development? So in that light, since we did, and this is in 2025, we reviewed that every year, and consistently in 2025, we've identified and programs are about there to remove any constraints to housing.
That's what I thought.
From- yeah.
Right now, we did everything we needed. We got approved, so they're happy for now.
Right, there are programs in the housing element that are in this implementation progress report that say, well, create an objective design ordinance or do this in terms of the zoning ordinance. And those are ongoing, but they haven't been done since, September, October, November
Yeah.
of this last year. So we're basically just reporting.
Okay.
Uh,
All right.
It's important to note too that every city is in this boat. There's a number of different programs and policies, as the Planning Commission and Council have commented on every time we bring this forward. Is that it's a lot for a city to do, any city, and it's a lot for the city of Delray Oaks to do too. It's a big hurdle
Yeah.
to do all of these programs. And so we're doing the best we can within the context of the time frame.
Okay. And the next one's just a comment, I guess, just to get in the record again, but Charlie thought for that thing about having the agreement with, Marina Coast for the water, just, again, I mean, I know we have an agreement. They also have a consent decree with Landlocked and Keep Fort Ord Wild that basically says, according to them, that we built out, there's no more water for, so, I know we keep saying that, and it's on the record again, that we should watch Seaside, because I know they're trying to use some of that too, and they're been watching their efforts, and they've been running into some of the same issues as far as getting more water out of Marina Coast. So that's not for you. That's just for the record. We probably want to keep an eye on what's going on Seaside. They might get there before us, and see how it goes, because I'm sure all that's going to get tested. But looks good on paper. So let's see here. Okay. And did that? Yeah. Okay. Oops. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Mostly it's just that, really, I'm just, the main thing is, like, and this is more, again, just a comment. I'd like to see more, and again, not you, but I'd like us to see as a council, planning commission, more updates and more info about what's going on. I mean, we can be a good partner, but we can't be a partner if we have no idea what's happening. And I understand there's negotiations that sometimes there's what can and can't be said, but in a year and a half, maybe it's a good time to, get us read in a little bit so we can be a good partner in this process, because there's going to be a lot when it starts happening. It's going to be a lot happening. Get rid of the CDO and developer wants to start going out there. We want to hit the road, hit the ground running, and we can do that better for more informed. So, all right, thank you.
Commissioner Getzel.
Actually, I want to thank Gary for covering most of the points. Thank you for doing my homework for me. And I want to thank Denise and her crew and the city staff, because this is a lot of work, and especially for, as you said, such a small entity. And it's hard to keep on top of all of this and not only know what to do, but then do it when it's due. And sometimes we do our best. It's all we can expect from all of you. So thank you, and thank you, Gary, again for doing my homework.
Okay, Commissioner Amati.
So I don't have any further questions on our progress report. I do have some comments regarding moving forward, but I feel like you might want me to wait on those comments until we've completed the portion of the progress report.
Well, this
is it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so in reviewing this, I see that over the next year, if we meet even some of these goals, we have a lot of work to do. I think the priority work that this group needs to focus on is the review of our existing general plan, which we now are probably overdue on. And some of the other components of this that would go into that general plan, including our safety element and our environmental justice element and any of the zoning elements that are required. In addition to that, we talk about the development of objective designs and standards within this report. So I would really like to see that we put together, the Planning Commission put together a timeline of when we would like to begin working on these areas that we as the Planning Commission have committed to. Now, I know that the city does not have a lot of resources, but the city has this resource. that I'm not sure it's using to the maximum that they should be using. If you look across this table, you see expertise in many areas that could be very helpful to the city and our city staff in completing the objectives that we have committed to. So I would like to see us move forward with working with the city and hand in hand to develop that timeline as to how we can actually accomplish some of these goals.
Commissioner Machi.
Yeah, I actually have a couple questions. I don't know if it's a question for you or the city manager. So on item C10, so Charlie 10, so you guys are, I guess we are looking for a developer for the Fort Ord area. Do you know how much land is available to develop in regards of like acreage, or
Mhm.
is there like a number?
Yes, there's a total number of 240, that's 242.5 acre feet, 200, I think, 40 acres, can't remember, and about 100 acres of land that is outside of the DTSC area of for further evaluation because of UXO. It's an unexploded ordinance. So all of that information, if you want to do more research on it, is in the housing element, which is online. The version that was approved was the April 2025 version. And that process was a long process, but I'm happy to point you to the location of background. I think it's chapter 3, tables, it's right here. And then an appendix on it too. So chapter 3 has tables 3 that go through all of the different sites that are in former Fort Ord and identifies the acreage of each. And it also identifies other buffer sites. And that's important because the buffer sites are, if you can't develop Fort Ord, buffer sites are, here's some other areas that you could develop to meet their regional housing needs.
Got it.
Yeah.
So did you hear anything about this tiger salamander? Is that the reason why no one's really jumped over on it?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, our staff as works on all the habitat management plans locally. We're rated for CTS for all the biologists
Mhm.
under CDFW. CDFW and U.S. Fish and Wildlife have all the permits for that, and we have our biologists and our staff have conducted most of the research on that in Fort Ord. So yeah, it's identified as a constraint to development, and we've also presented maps to the city that identify what's the area where within the habitat and which areas outside. And so that it points to what you can develop without having to go through the incidental take permit or Section 7 process or 8 habitat. And the city's also in the process of preparing a habitat management plan, which is subsequent to after the closure of Fort Ord, what's required for allowing future development to occur, and identifies what types of management actions are required for development in the critical habitat and around the critical habitat of the CTS California tiger salamander.
Got it. Thank you.
Commissioner Panay.
Yes. I have a few questions, and again, like you, I'm not sure who can answer them and, how tied they are with all of this, but the MST letter, I was thinking through the bus routes around here, which there aren't many, but there is one that takes Canyon Del Rey. And I was wondering if they've been accommodated by the construction at all, but I'm supposing that they're in communication with the people who are working on this construction or the agencies related to that.
Question, although it's not related to the implementation of the progress report or the housing element, I do want to mention that the MST bus lines, et cetera, are included in the housing element also. And it looks like the letter identified the main line that's through Delray Oaks. And there's also an opportunity to offer from the general manager of MST or the executive director to reach out for further information.
Yeah, you're answering my second question that was also about that letter, because I'm thinking, I know when I take General Moore, which I'm on often enough, that I see all the new sites that are going to be building, and I know that the line on General Moore doesn't come all the way to Delray Oaks. It ends like our side of Seaside. And if they plan to modify that, but they know that we're going to eventually be building, and they're in touch with, they're aware of what's going to be happening or what's potentially planned here.
Yes, as is AMBAG with the regional transportation plan and other jurisdictions. So it is very important.
Okay, so that was one piece. Then another area I had questions about um, was about the ADU, but I think we've answered that already to a certain extent. That's program C2. Like my colleagues, I'm thirsty for information about what's happening. And I'm really glad to see that today. And some of that is just, our own, like Anne was saying, our own tracking of information and following up on it and organizing that for ourselves. But C2 is about the ADU, and I know we typically get annual reports of sorts to track where we're at with that. And you told us today that in the last report there were 12, and I counted 4 in the last year in the list we have here. So that means we'd be at 16, which is not bad at all. You're right in terms of showing progress. That's progress. That's clear progress there. And 16 out of 20 that we committed to do. So when I heard about that today, that when I saw that also in our reports, that got me jazzed up. Another piece that I was wondering about, and that's just my own value system, I guess, speaking here, but it's D10 interested me in that it's looking for, we're talking there about assisting in the development of housing for extremely low income household, that we're reaching out to such people to try to figure out how we can perhaps, if we can at all, in our case, address their needs. And I know that there are other people on the council in general, the city council, that are interested in seeing what we can learn from that too. But how do we reach out to these people? What do we know? I mean, what has been done on that front? Just out of, yeah.
Program D10 assists in the development of ELI, extremely low income households, is the program. Objective is to conduct outreach to assist in the development of ELI, and the timeline is conduct outreach biannually thereafter, by January 25, and biannually thereafter, to conduct outreach. So the cities had initiated outreach. We have a website on the city that's a resource website. We also are working toward, we have home sharing information that's out there that we use the city of Monterey's home sharing. There's more that can be done. We'll be working with the city on that in 2026 to conduct outreach, not just for ELI, but for all affordable housing.
Okay.
And a number of different programs discuss outreach. And we the report is as much as we've done in the last year, and we'll continue to do so. It's an ongoing item.
Okay. Gives me a sense of what the directions are that are being explored.
This program is a very broad program. It's really meant to have covered sort of the other elements that are the previous programs in the housing element that are a little bit more specific. So.
Okay. That's all I have on top of everything else that's been discussed already. Thank you.
Commissioner Wood.
So, thank you very much, Denise, for the update there. And curious if seem to be on par. You don't see any reason why we're on track for basically satisfying the demands that they want.
I think I understand your question. Is that
Basically,
are we in trouble?
Are we on track?
Yeah. Are we in trouble or are we on track?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the HCD HCD worked really hard with the city to work on getting programs and everything compliant. We have a compliant housing element.
Okay.
We are I think there were 6 jurisdictions that achieved compliance in 2025. So we're in the same boat as a lot of other. One just received compliance in January. So there's another local Monterey County jurisdiction. The HCD realizes that some of these programs are difficult to achieve as a small city, but they want to have us keep trying to work for progress. So the great thing about having a compliant housing element is we can apply for funds if they become available. Whereby if you don't have one, you're not eligible for certain of these funding opportunities. But yes, are we going to achieve 100% of every objective on this housing element by the end of the 6-cycle planning period? That would be pretty remarkable and miraculous. And I think that, we can do everything that we can within the context of the city's resources to do that.
Okay, back to me. I don't really have any further questions. Everybody's kind of covered everything, and I just wanted to thank you guys. I mean, I read this stuff and and how thick that thing is. It's amazing what you do. So thank you. It's a really good job. It would be tough for us to try and put that together. It would be impossible for us to do it. So anyway, okay. So I'd like to get a motion. We need to approve this so that we can relay it to the city council. So I'll look for a motion.
I move that we recommend to the city council that they approve this report.
Okay. Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. It passes unanimously. Okay. Announcements from commissioners. We'll start with you, Commissioner Krieger.
Nothing. From CAG, next thing coming up would be the Earth Day Ice Cream Social, but that's not till April, so we got some time, but hopefully we'll have some meetings between then and now and then. But keep that on your calendar and tell everybody, come on down to the park and have some ice cream and celebrate Earth Day. They're trying to come up with some new fun stuff. Maybe a pumpkin roll down.
Pumpkin roll down the
Or
street.
maybe we'll see if we get that worked out. Maybe something
We got
different.
some talking to do.
So keep that on your calendars. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Getzel.
Nothing. Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay. Commissioner Muddy.
No announcement.
Nothing. No.
Nothing either. Thank you for the good work.
Commissioner Wood.
Actually, there's movie nights are going to be happening this year. In what did we figure out? March, April, May, September, and October. And the first one is March 27th, and it'll be Rango in the park.
Okay.
So there you go.
That's good ones.
From me,
To, recommendations too. Everybody has requests.
and for me, thank you to staff for all you guys do. Yeah, I know you guys are super busy, super understaffed,
Thanks.
and you guys do a
Thank
great
you.
job for us, and we
If we
appreciate
can
you.
help in any way, let us know.
And I appreciate all the time you guys put in too with all this, because I saw lots of notes on your stuff there, and I know the 2 times I was nodding reading this stuff. So anyway.
In the 2 bottles of wine.
Yeah. All right, our next meeting will be, next meeting of the Delray Oaks Planning Commission will be Wednesday, March 11th at 6 p.m. We're adjourned.